What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to Johnny K Picks. And in this video, I'll be going over my full card picks and predictions, along with the bets that I like so far for UFC 285 Jones versus Gane. Now, first things first, not feeling the greatest. I'm going to let you know that right off. So I'm not going to be as energetic or anything like that. This might be a kind of a short breakdown as well for all these fights, but I'm going to do it. I finally got enough energy to do this. So here we go. Um, as always, if you hit that like button for me, subscribe if you haven't yet, and don't forget to turn on a notification so you don't miss out on any of my new videos or live streams that pop up throughout the week. So, UFC Vegas 70 was last weekend, a couple days ago, and overall, it was pretty solid. I'll say. It sucks that we lost the main event, Span versus Krylov. So it's never fun to get, and we get word like 5 fights in and then it's canceled. So I'll go over these 10 fights that we had only, which kind of sucked, like I said, but real quick. Aliev versus Alves. Very impressed with Aliev. He got his wrestling going. He was controlling Alves on the mat, and he pretty much dominated that. When I thought, except for the little bite in the beginning. So good win from him. I think there's a good future for him. He's only 23 years old. Selecki versus Deaton. Selecki did what he needed to do, get in there and get that rear naked choke. And not really impressed with Carl Deaton, I'll be honest, but Joe Selecki did what he needed to do there. Ode Osborne versus Charles Johnson. It could be debatable win here. I could see it either way. I did pick Johnson to win. So maybe that's the reason why I kind of thought he did it just enough in the third round, because I don't think Ode's takedowns were very meaningful, if you want to say. Yeah, he got the takedowns, but he didn't do anything with them. Johnson got right back up, and I thought he landed the better strikes in the third round to give him the split win, but not robbery. Very close fight. So good win for Ode. Jordan Levitt versus Victor Martinez. Who would have thought? Who would have thought Jordan Levitt got that knockout in the first round by knees? I like it. Monkey King is back, baby. Don't be sleeping on Monkey King. Next fight is Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Fernandez. Good win for Jasmine. Like I said in my breakdowns, if she got that wrestling going, she was going to make it look pretty easy, and she did. And Gabriella was definitely better on the feet, but she had zero takedown defense and zero ground game. She had no idea what to do on the mat. So good win from Jasmine. There's still room for improvement, I think, for Jasmine, but she's a very solid fighter. I think she could do good in the division. Trevor Peak versus Eric Gonzalez, one of the funnest fights to watch. Peak is just a madman. Eric tried his best to survive that first round, but he just couldn't do it. Peak was landing bomb after bomb after bomb. Finally got it with 1 second left. Crazy fight. Very enjoyable fight to watch. And he's a little bundle of joy and energy, but we'll see what happens if he gets in the second round. I'm telling you, this guy's crazy. Mallet versus Yohan. Yohan, I think, is a fraud. You don't think he's that good. He had a couple good wins, and I don't know if that was a fluke win or what, but Mallet looked really good striking. When he got the fight to the mat, he just dominated Yohan and got the submission early. And Yohan didn't really do much in that fight. I was like really more disappointed in Yohan than I was with Mike Malot's win. And I bet Mike Malott and I picked him to win. So good win for Malott. And I think Yohan's kind of a fraud. I'll be honest. Tatiana Suarez versus Montana De La Rosa. Suarez is back. She looked great. She struggled a little bit because I think it was the higher weight class. She's usually a strawweight, and she was fighting a flyweight who was kind of big. But once she got Montana down, she just dominated. So good win from her. She got the submission guillotine choke. And yeah, I want to see more from her. I think might be a potential new champion coming up here soon. Maybe give her like 3 fights. All right. Sakai versus Mays. I'll eat my words, Cody. I did pick Mays, and Mays looked like complete trash. But sorry. I will say this. Sakai did not look too much better, but he was the better of the two. Sakai looked good in the first 2.5 minutes, and then it was just a hug fest against the cage for about, 10 of the 12 minutes left in the fight. So to me, this is just a low level heavyweight fight. Took a shot on Mays. Now, I'm not mad about it. I didn't bet it, so it's just a pick. It's all good. But yeah, Sakai won. Good for him. That's all I gotta say. These guys aren't that great. And Brendan Allen versus Andre Muniz. Allen leveled up yet again. I was very impressed with him. I picked Muniz to win. I knew it was going to be closer than the line suggested. That's why I didn't want to bet Muniz on the money line. I did like the over 1.5 better, and that hit, obviously. But Allen, very good. He looked good striking. His grappling looked very good. So he's definitely one to watch for. He's just leveling up each fight now. So it's good to see. And that's all we got for this one. It was a quick card. So we'll get out of here. I will show you my bets for my picks. I ended up going 7-3 total. And then for my bets, like I said, I only had 4 bets because one of the bets that I had was in the Span Krylov fight and it got canceled. So only ended up with 4 tracked. 1-3 out of the 4. So I ended up winning 2.28 units. So finally we did it. I got off the losing streak here. So I'm going to continue this winning streak in this 285 coming up here. I was 1 split decision away from a clean sweep. So that would have been great if I could have done that, but not complaining one bit with 2.28 units. So I'll get out of here and let's go to the picks and predictions for UFC 285. We'll start from the bottom. This is a super short notice replacement. I'm probably gonna butcher his name. So Lok Radzhabov versus Esteban Ribovics. Can't even say it. Ribovics. And I'm sorry, guys. My brain is not working today. So Radzhabov is 16-4-1, 31 years old, 5'8", with a 68-inch reach. And Esteban is here 11-0, 26 years old, 5'10", with a 69-inch reach. So like I said, I'm sick. I can barely read. I don't even know what my brain's doing. So Radzhabov, he's making his UFC debut. Like I said, he's on super short notice. He's a very solid wrestler. His striking is okay. He can survive on the feet against a really good striker. He can be a little hittable. His cardio is pretty solid, but I just don't know about the super short notice, though. So we don't know about the cardio, but normally he does have good cardio. And he's fought solid competition in his career. So that's always a plus. And Esteban, he's making his UFC debut as well. He's an explosive striker. He's got good power in his hands. He does have decent grappling and submissions, but lately he's been winning a lot of his fights on the feet with knockouts early in the first or early second round. He likes to push forward and set a high pace early. So be interesting to see what he does here. But I think if Radzhabov had a full camp, I would like him a lot in this fight. But I still like him more so right now than Esteban. I think he can, if he can get the wrestling going and get those takedowns, he should be able to wear down Esteban early, and then take away some of the explosiveness and the striking, and maybe just grind out a win, maybe just like a submission in the second round or something like that. Because I don't know about Esteban's gas tank too. He's only been to I think the second round at most. So he's first round, third round. Okay, one time in the third round. So early he got those submissions, and then lately it's just been he's been falling in love with the striking, if you want to say. So give me Radzhabov to win this one. I'm gonna say he does end up getting the submission win. I'm gonna say in the second round. I just think he can get that wrestling going, and then, like I said, wear down Esteban a little bit, and then take away that explosiveness. Next fight is Farid Basharat versus Damon Blackshear. Basharat is 9-0, 25 years old, 5'8", with a 71-inch reach. Blackshear is 12-4-1, 28 years old, 5'10", with a 72-inch reach. So Basharat's also making his UFC debut here. He's very well-rounded, just like his brother. Solid striking, very quick on his feet. Got good wrestling and good grappling. Good submissions as well. And Blackshear, he's a good striker with good power in his hands. He's got decent grappling and submissions. Takedown defense isn't the greatest. He's kind of low volume at times on the feet, and if he does get taken down, he can be controlled on the mat. So something to look at in this fight. But I like Basharat here a lot. I think he's the better fighter everywhere. I think he's a better striker, more technical. He might not have more power. And then on the feet or on the mat, I think he's the better wrestler. I think he's the better grappler. I don't think Blackshear is going to be able to submit him off his back or anything like that. And if Basharat wants to strike, he can win this fight like that. Or if he wants to mix it up and get those takedowns, I think he can do that here too. So with my pick, give me Basharat to win by decision. I think this will be not a close fight, I'm sorry, but both guys are pretty durable. I don't see anyone knocking each other out or getting submitted. And I believe Blackshear has never been finished in his career. So let me check. Unanimous decision. So he even fought Pat Sabatini and didn't get submitted. So that's a good win. A good loss, I should say, without getting submitted. Yeah, so he's never been submitted or knocked out in his career. So I'm going to say by decision, Basharat should get this one done. Next fight we have is Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ricci. Penne is 14-6, 40 years old, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. And Ricci is 7-1, 28 years old, 5'1" with a 62-inch reach. All right, so get here. So Penne is a solid UFC veteran. She's been fighting forever. She's got okay striking. She's got pretty decent grappling and submission. She's very hittable. She does not check leg kicks. We've seen that in her past fights. Her takedown defense isn't the greatest either. And she's 40 years old. And to me, that's always a big red flag. I mean, she's just not the same Jessica Penne, if you want to say. And Tabitha Ricci's a very good wrestler, very good grappler. She's very quick on her feet. She has very good takedowns. And when with the entry takedowns, she's very quick and she times those very well. Her striking is good. It can use a little bit of improvement, but she's always the smaller fighter. So it's really hard to get her striking going, I think, which is why I think she leans more so on her wrestling and grappling, which is not a bad idea. Yeah, and she always likes to look for those takedowns early and often to get to the mat. So again, this isn't going to be a no-brainer here, but I'm going with Ricci. I think she'll get those takedowns early and often. I don't think she's going to mess around too much on the feet. Penne does have the range advantage, about a 5-inch reach advantage. So not the biggest reach advantage, but it's definitely something to think about. And I think if Ricci can't get the takedowns for whatever reason, I mean, I think she will be able to. It will be a closer fight. But I still think Ricci can win a striking, like affair in this fight. So with my pick, I'm going to go with Ricci to win by decision. Penne's pretty tough. She doesn't really lose by, I mean, she lost to Andrade, but a lot of people are going to lose to Andrade by a knockout. And then she's pretty tough, like I said. So she doesn't really have a lot of, she hasn't really lost a lot by knockouts or anything like that. So I'm going to say she survives all 3 rounds, but Ricci wins this one pretty dominantly, 30-27 or 29-28. Next fight, it's going to be Mana Martinez versus Cameron Saaimon. Martinez is 10-3, 26 years old, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. And Saaimon is 7-0, 22 years old, 5'8" with a 67-inch reach. So Martinez is a very solid striker. He's got very good power in his hands. He doesn't really wrestle or grapple too much, but he can if need be, which, like I said, he doesn't really do it too often. His takedown defense isn't good at all, but he does have a solid cardio for 3 rounds. And he likes, if he does get taken down, he always works to get back up. So that's always a good thing if he does get taken down. And Saimon's very well rounded. He's very young, very solid striking with some power in his hands. He does have okay wrestling and good grappling with submissions. He can get hit at times, like with counters, but he does have a pretty solid chin. So he's going to need it for this fight, I believe. So this is a pretty tough one, or a pretty a tough one for me, because I do think betting line is wide. I think Saaimon right now is minus 300 range, and that's crazy to me. I think this is more so like a minus 170 for Saaimon, but I do still think he's the better fighter overall. He may make a couple mistakes in this fight, but Martinez doesn't really make the greatest choices as well. So I'm going to say that Cameron definitely tries to go use his wrestling and grappling here. I don't think he wants to keep this fight on the feet for too long, I should say. So with my pick here, I'm going to go with Saaimon to win. I do think he wins this one by decision because Mana is pretty tough as well. And Yeah, I just think Cameron he's the better fighter on the mat. I think he's gonna be able to get it down to the mat with Mana's lack thereof takedown defense. Next fight, we have Ian Machado Garry versus Kenan Song. Garry is 10-0, 25 years old, 6'3" with a 74-inch reach, and Song is 19-6, 32 years old, 6 foot with a 71.5-inch reach. All right, let's get here. So Garry is a very good technical striker. He's got okay power. Doesn't have that one punch knockout power, but over time he does have quick strikes, so he could get the knockout. He's got very good takedown defense. He manages his range very well. He can strike off his back foot, which is good to see. Not a lot of fighters can do that. He has high volume, but he can be hittable at times. So I've seen improvements with all of his fights in the UFC. But he hasn't been as hittable. But in his early fights, he was pretty hittable. Song is a solid striker. We've got very good power in his hands. He doesn't really wrestle or grapple. He's not the most technical of strikers, and he hasn't fought in about 2 years, almost 2 years against Max Griffin. He got knocked out. So to me, I got to go with Garry here. I think he's the more technical striker, and I think this is going to be a striker versus striker matchup. Garry could use some wrestling in this matchup, but I don't think he's going to need it unless he gets rocked for some reason. And that's the only thing he's going to have to worry about, Garry. He's going to have to worry about that big shot that Song might land. And other than that, Garry should win this fight pretty easily. So I just think he's better everywhere. So with my pick, I'm going to go Garry to get this done. I do think he's going to get this done by a knockout, maybe like a late second round knockout. I think he'll eventually just outstrike him, and then he'll end that. He'll get that like counter, his left hook or something like that, and get a counter and knock him out. It's gonna be a pretty cool fight, though. This one's gonna be very interesting, very close fight here. What the heck? There we go. Julian Marquez versus Marc-Andre Barraiult. Marquez is 9-3, 32 years old, 6'2" with a 72-inch reach. And Barraiult is 14-6, 33 years old, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. So Marquez is a solid striker with tons of power in his hands. He's got a very good chin. I know he just lost recently to Gregory Rodriguez, but Gregory Rodriguez is a monster. He's got sneaky submissions when he's on the mat. He doesn't have the greatest takedown defense, and he doesn't really wrestle. So if he does get taken down, that's when he usually gets those submission wins. And Marc-Andre is very well-rounded, okay striking and boxing. His wrestling is solid. He does have some power in his hands, but he doesn't really have the greatest chin. He can get knocked out. I don't want to say fairly easily, but I think sometimes his chin can let him down. Let's put it that way. But and I think this could be a fight where that happens because, like I said, Marquez does have pretty good power in his hands. So I do think this is going to be a very close fight because if Marc-Andre uses that wrestling and just controls Marquez early, I think he should be able to win a decision win here. But if he doesn't, he tries to strike with Julian, I think Julian's going to get the knockout. And I do think Julian is a little bit more dangerous too, overall. So usually with close fights like this, I like to go with the more dangerous guy. So I'm going to go with Marquez to win this one. And I'm going to say he gets it done by knockout. I think on the feet, he's going to land that shot to get the knockout. I think it's going to be early too. I think it's going to be in the first round. So with my pick, I'm going to go with Marquez to win by first round knockout. I think Marc-Andre is going to try to strike with them, and it's going to end up biting him in the butt. Next fight is Viviane Araujo versus Amanda Ribas. Araujo is 11-4, 36 years old, 5'4", with a 68-inch reach. And Ribas is 10-3, 29 years old, 5'3", with a 66-inch reach. So Araujo is a solid striker. She's very strong. She's a very good wrestler, good takedowns, good takedown defense. She's a fast starter, but she slows down after the first round a little bit and as the fight goes on. She can be hittable on the feet as well, so that's something to look out for. And Ribas is very well-rounded. She's got very good technical striking and good striking defense. Solid takedowns and grappling as well. Good takedown defense as well, with very good cardio. So this is going to be a very, very fun fight because both fighters are very good in their own ways. But I'm gonna go with Ribas to get it done here. I just think she's a little bit more well-rounded. I like her more so on the feet. Maybe if Araujo can get Ribas down, maybe she can control her. But Ribas has submissions off her back, so that's something to think about too. And then the cardio issue is something that kind of it's a big red flag for me, as I think Araujo she has probably two solid rounds. In the third round, that's when she doesn't really have the cardio, and I think Ribas can definitely win the third round. So to me, Araujo has to either get a finish or win the first two rounds pretty convincingly to win this fight. And I don't see a finish on either side here. I think Ribas will definitely win round three, and either round one or two. So with my pick, I'm gonna go with Ribas to win a very fun fight. I think she wins by decision, probably 29-28. She'll probably win the round two and three. I'm looking at a bet on her. I know I don't really bet women's MMA, but the line is appropriate. I think this is a close to a pick'em fight, and I like Ribas, so everything is kind of the stars are aligning for a bet here. I'm not. I'm gonna watch the line, but that's something I'm looking at. I think it's at minus 120 range right now. So a lot of people are picking the underdog here. So I'll see where it goes. Next fight is going to be Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. Brunson is 23-8, 39 years old, 6'1 with a 77-inch reach. Du Plessis is 18-2, 29 years old, 6'1 with a 76-inch reach. So Brunson is a very good wrestler. He's got very good takedowns. His striking is all right. Cardio is very questionable nowadays. He's 39 years old. His chin is very questionable. I think out of his 8 losses, he's been knocked out 6 times. I believe it's 6. And he does have some power on his feet early, but if he gets a couple takedowns in that first round, his cardio, like I said, just gasses in a second. So very hard to trust Derek Brunson nowadays. But du Plessis, very well-rounded fighter. He's not the most technical striker, but he has very good power in his hands. He likes to push a pace early in the fight in the first round. He's got solid wrestling and grappling and submissions. His cardio is an issue after the first round, like I said, because of that pace he likes to put on. And it just seems like he gets a second wind either late in the second round or in the third round. And this is what I see again. And this has happened in a lot of du Plessis fights. Comes out crazy. And then I don't want to say he empties his gas tank, but it's at like, a quarter tank. And then he takes the second round off. And then the third round, he has like half tank and he just goes for it again. And Brunson only has one, I think he only has about one, and I'll be nice, 1.5 rounds of cardio in him, and then he's done. So to me, I just think this is a battle of who can survive cardio wise, and I think it's going to be du Plessis. I think he's going to end up getting the knockout here because, like I said, Brunson's never been submitted before in his career, but he's been knocked out 6 out of 8 times he lost. So I think du Plessis will definitely get this one done in the second round. I don't think he's going to go as crazy as he did in his last fight against Darren Till in the first round because that was pretty crazy, high pace against the cage. And like I said, if Brunson gets a couple takedowns, which he definitely could, he's going to gas in the second. So I think du Plessis will get that knockout in the second round. That's my pick. I got du Plessis in a parlay. He's one of my most confident picks of the night. It's just hard for me to think Derek Brunson's going to be able to knock out or submit du Plessis. He's very tough. And I think that's the only way he wins this fight. I don't think he's going to be able to win a decision win here. Next fight, Cody Garbrandt versus Trevin Jones. Garbrandt is 12-5, 31 years old, 5'8", with a 65.5-inch reach. Sorry, guys. Jones is 13-9, 32 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. So Garbrandt is a very good boxer with good power in his hands. He does have some wrestling he can use, but he doesn't really use it that often. Good takedown defense, and his chin really hasn't given him any favors lately. He's lost a lot by knockout, unfortunately. He's a good fighter, but it's just his chin just seems to fail him a lot of times. But Trevin Jones, he's a good striker. He's got a ton of power in his hands. He can be a little low volume. He can be hittable at times. He does have some grappling he can use, but he likes to just keep it on the feet as well. And I think on paper, I mean, this is Cody's fight to lose on paper. Everywhere, I think Cody's better. But what makes it more interesting is Cody's chin. Is Cody's chin going to be able to survive Trevin Jones's striking? And Jones only needs one shot here, I think, to knock out Cody. Cody. So I'm gonna go with Cody. I'm gonna stay far away from this fight because I think there's a lot of question marks. I don't know if I like the over or the under or whatever. Because I don't think Cody's gonna be able to get out Trevin Jones. I think he'll win a decision win, but that's risky even hoping Cody can win a decision. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say Cody wins this one by decision. He'll outstrike him for 3 rounds. I'm just not really that impressed with Trevin Jones lately. In his last fight against Barcelos, he did not look good at all. So I think Cody, like I said, this is Cody's fight to lose on paper. I think he gets this one done as long as he doesn't get hit with that big shot from Trevin Jones. So with my pick, going with Garbrandt to win by decision. Next fight, Jamie Pickett, Bo Nickal. Jamie Pickett is 13-8, 34 years old, 6'2", with an 80-inch reach. And Nickal is 3-0, 27 years old, 6'1", with a 76-inch reach. So be nice here. Pickett is an average striker. He's an average wrestler. He doesn't really have the greatest takedown defense. That's really about it. I'm going to be super nice. Bo Nickal is a very good wrestler, very good grappling and submissions once he gets his fight to the mat. His striking is a work in progress. Haven't really seen too much of it because he doesn't really need it. But he definitely likes to go for that wrestling early and often and get this fight to the mat. And this is going to be an easy pick. Let's go with Bo Nickal here. He's going to get this one done early, I think, in the first round. Like I said, Pickett doesn't really have the greatest takedown defense. He's not really the greatest of fighters in the middleweight division. I think he'll get that takedown early and get the sub. Whatever sub he wants to do, he'll get it. So that's the breakdown. So with my pick, give me Bo Nickal to win by submission in the first round. Very good fight here. Very torn. Very torn. Mateus Gamrot versus Jalen Turner. Gamrot is 21-2, 32 years old, 5'10", with a 70.5-inch reach. And Turner is 13-5, 27 years old, 6'3", with a 75.5-inch reach. So Gamrot is a very good wrestler. He's got very good cardio with that wrestling. He's got good takedowns. He didn't really show that good of takedowns in the Beneil fight, but Beneil was on another level that fight. I'll tell you that. His striking is all right. Could use some improvement. It's not terrible. But he's definitely a wrestler first, and he wants to get this fight to the mat. And it's probably a good idea in this fight. Let's be honest. Turner, very good striker. He keeps his range very well. He has sneaky power in his hands. He's got sneaky submissions as well. He likes to go for the club and sub more so than just go for the straight like ground and pound knockout. His takedown defense is pretty solid, but it's not the greatest either. So with a very good wrestler like Gamrot, I think he's going to be able to take down Jalen Turner. But this fight is very tough because I really, really, really want to pick Turner here in my heart. But I know in my head's like, come on. Like Gamrot's a very good wrestler. Turner's never seen a good wrestler like this. Mateus has a very solid chin. He could take 1 or 2 of those punches I think Turner can land. And the pressure and pace, I mean, it kind of worries me for Turner. I think Mateus's pace and pressure is always tough, and we haven't seen Turner really go super far in some of the fights lately. I think that was a first round submission. That was a first round or second round knockout. So give me Gamrot. I think that's the smart pick if you want to say, but Turner is a very good underdog pick, especially at plus 175, I believe his line is right now. That's why it's kind of intriguing to pick him as well. But I don't like to use the line or the betting lines to manipulate my picks. I do think Gamrot's wrestling is going to be a little too much for Turner here. So with my pick, I'm going to go Gamrot to win this one. I'm going to say he wins this one by decision. I do not think he'll be able to get out Turner. If there is a finish, though, I do think it's going to be Turner by knockout or like a club and sub. But again, Gamrot's never been finished in his career. So to me, I don't know. It's tough. So give me Gamrot. I kind of want to pick Turner, though. I'll say that. All right. Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. Jeff Neal is 15-4, 32 years old, 5'11 with a 75-inch reach. And Shavkat is 16-0, 28 years old, 6'1 with a 77-inch reach. So this is going to be a very good fight. We all know Neal is very tough. He's a very good striker with good power. He can be hittable at times on the feet. He has pretty high volume early. He starts to fade as the fight goes on. After the first round, he's got very good, strong kicks, solid takedown defense. Rakhmonov is super well-rounded. He's great everywhere. His striking is super technical. He's got some good power in his hands. He's got very good grappling, good wrestling, good trips against the cage. He's very dangerous wherever this fight takes place. And he can literally take the fight anywhere he wants. So this is no disrespect to Jeff Neal, but Rakhmonov is on a different level, I believe. He's a future champion. This is just one step that he needs to take. And I think he gets it done kind of like the Magny fight, where we kind of thought, like, this is Rakhmonov's hardest competition yet, and Magny will give him a little bit of issue. And no. So I think this is going to be the same thing. I don't think Rakhmonov is going to want to strike with Neal too much here. He might test it early, but then I think he's going to start using that wrestling and grappling and know that he's going to have an advantage there. And I do think he's going to get that submission eventually in the second or third round when Neal starts to slow down a bit. I think the takedowns will come a little easier. So with my pick, I'm going to go with Shavkat to win this one. Definitely by a finish, but I'll say by submission. Like I said, in the second or third round. Out of 16 Shavkat wins, he's finished every one, 8 knockouts and 8 submissions. So there's a trend. So that's going to be a prop bet I will be looking at. Hopefully it's not too juiced up. Maybe I'll throw it in a parlay. We'll see what happens there. All right, co-main event. Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Shevchenko is 23-3, 34 years old, 5'5 with a 65.5-inch reach. Grasso is 15-3, 29 years old, 5'5 with a 66-inch reach. So Shevchenko, very technical striker. She's got good power in her hands, good leg kicks as well, very good grappling and wrestling. She's very dangerous wherever this fight goes. We did see in her last fight that she got out grappled by Santos, but this is not going to happen in this fight. So don't think about that in this one. Grasso is a very good boxer. She's got very quick strikes. She's got okay power. She does have some solid grappling that she could use, but I don't think she's going to want to use it here because I think Shevchenko's grappling is way better. But she is mainly a striker. So to me, this is Shevchenko all day. Unfortunately, I do like Alexa Grasso. I think she's a very solid fighter, but there's just levels to the game, let's say. And Shevchenko is just on another level. Maybe, I don't want to say two. Let's just say on another level. I think she's better everywhere, striking, wrestling, grappling, you name it. I do think Shevchenko gets it done inside the distance. I don't know if it's going to be like on the mat. Maybe she takes her back and gets a rear naked choke, maybe a crucifix or something like that. I don't think it's going to be on the feet. Alexa Grasso is pretty decent with her striking defense, and unless she just gets clocked or rocked once and maybe she just falls down and maybe gets a club and sub. But I'm going to say Shevchenko wins by knockout, maybe like a ground and pound knockout, maybe like in the third round or fourth. It's going to be close to get to that decision, but I think it's going to be in like the third or fourth round. All right. Everyone's waiting for this fight, including me. Jon Jones, main event versus Cyril Gane. Jones is 26-1, 35 years old, 6'4", with an 84.5-inch reach. Gane is 11-1, 32 years old, 6'4", with an 81-inch reach. So we all know, maybe not all of us, but I think Jon Jones is the GOAT. Let's be honest, fighting wise. He's coming back from a 3-year layoff. He's a very technical striker. He's got very good wrestling and takedowns as well. And yeah, he's just good everywhere. He's only lost one fight. And that was by disqualification. His last couple fights were a little iffy. A lot of people thought Dominic Reyes won that fight. I was one of them, but it was close. Thiago Santos. Thiago looked very good, very questionable. Split decision. That one to me, I thought Jon Jones won, but it was very close as well. But like I said, this is 3 years ago, and he didn't really look his greatest 3 years then. He's moving up to heavyweight. I don't know how much he's going to weigh. I didn't really look into like his Instagram or anything like that and see where he's at with weight. So it's something to definitely check out on the scales and see how he looks. So that's something new for him. He's going to have to carry about, 30, 40 pounds maybe extra weight for 5 rounds. So it's something to think about. Cyril Gane is a very good striker with very good kicks. He can grapple if need be, but he'd rather probably keep it on the feet. He doesn't really have that one punch knockout power for heavyweights, but he likes to kill you with volume, and he likes to work the body, which is always good with his kicks. And like I said, he can wrestle and grapple, but that's not like his forte. And I know in his last fight, I'm sorry, in the Ngannou fight, he didn't really look that great. I thought he would look better. Ngannou implemented a wrestle heavy game plan, which was a good strategy by him. And I think that may have threw Gane off a little bit, but I mean, that's not an excuse for anything for him. But he was literally one mistake away in the 5th round of winning that fight. Instead of going for the heel hook submission, if he would have just got up and got the fight to the mat, instead of getting reversed and Ngannou getting on top of him, he would have won that fight. So that's just a mental error there in the 5th round. He should have won that fight, I thought. Again, this fight is going to be amazing. There's just a lot of unknowns for Jon Jones here. It's going to be awesome to see him back, though. Moving up to heavyweight, like I said, he hasn't fought in 3 years. He's 35 years old right now. It's something also to think about. And I truly believe Jon Jones is the GOAT fighter of the UFC. But in this fight, it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of Jon Jones people think, I believe. And I keep going back and forth with this one too. But I'm going to lean ever so slightly Cyril Gane. He's just a more active fighter. He's been in the heavyweight division. He's not moving up or anything. He's very technical, just like Jon Jones. He has decent grappling. If Jon Jones wants to use some of that wrestling, he can use, so he can negate that. And I think this is going to end up being a striking affair for most of the fight. And I just don't know about Jon Jones's cardio carrying that extra weight into the heavyweight division. And Cyril Gane has very good cardio. So give me Cyril Gane. It's super close, but I mean, at underdog prices, it's not a bad underdog pick. And if anybody got Jon Jones at underdog prices, that's a good bet. So I think a good bet now that you missed the boat, if you wanted the underdog for Jon Jones, I think the best bet here would be Cyril Gane. He's at minus 135 or plus 135, maybe plus 140 now too. Very close fight, very good fight. I'll be on the edge of my seat here. So with my pick, I'm going to say Gane wins a very, very, very close decision. It might even be a split decision. So 48-47. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a split. Could be another thing to look out for in the bets. I don't think either guy is going to dominate here. Now, if you would have said Jon Jones is fighting Cyril Gane 3 years ago when he was active, I would pick Jon Jones all day. Even him going up heavyweight. But I'm going to go with Gane. I think he barely gets it done. But Very close fight. But all right, guys, thank you for watching. As always, thank you for toughing it out with me being sick. I know I probably don't sound the greatest and my brain is a little fried still. So like I said, thank you for watching. And on your way out, please hit that like button for me. I hope everybody enjoys the fights this weekend because I think this is going to be an amazing card. Probably one of the better pay-per-views lately. So hope everybody enjoys the fights. And until next time, happy fight night.